Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Magical YOUniverse coaching. We are back with our friend Charity Golden here once again, live on the show. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. It is good afternoon.
It is, right? I'm like, wait,
fine.
where are you again? You're in Indiana. What time is it? Yeah.
Yeah, one. Yes.
1 o'clock.
Yes.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I deal with people all over the world, so I never know what time it is. It could be tomorrow if I'm dealing with someone in Australia.
Same here.
So
Oh,
yeah.
Good. Well, please
Yeah.
introduce yourself to our listeners today.
Sure. I'm Charity Golden. I'm founder of Magical YOUniverse Coaching. I am a certified magnetic mind coach, and I'm here to talk today about what I do and invite. And today I was hoping that we talk about myself a little bit, about my story. Why do you want to choose me?
No, absolutely. And core truths. So please say hello and let's get started right away. Go for it.
Yes. The core truth is that we think that we have the common denominator. I've been trying to do this all my life. I've been trying to be successful. I've been trying to reach this goal all my life. And what happens is that people start to think, well, it must be me.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me, And so we take courses, we do self-help courses, and we read self-help books, and we just try to fix ourselves. We try to fix what's wrong with us. And the truth is the core premise of what I love about this work is that you're not broken. You don't need healing. Well, healing is good, but healing will come from the work, right? Not to go and fix yourself in order to create. So the core truth is that you're not broken. You don't need fixing. And it's all structure. Yeah. So what I help people to do is to get into the creative structure, because a lot of people, well, most of us, what we're raised into and kind of trained into and programmed into is the problem orientation, where we need problems to motivate, right? Mm-hmm. We're basically, most of our actions and our choices are made to try to solve this identity problem, to try to solve this issue with ourselves. And the thing is that it doesn't have to be that way, right? Because what happens is that when you take that problem orientation, there is always better. Here is worse. Yep. And you can't create from that place. What you end up creating is what you don't want. And we kind of talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about how what you focus on is what you end up, where you put your energy, and that's end up where you end up creating from. And if you focus on what you don't want, which is what we end up doing with this problem, we take that problem and we just take it with us in what we create, right?
Yep. And you say about taking the path of least resistance.
Yes.
I just used that term 2 days ago about someone, and I'm like, he always chooses the path of least resistance. And I'm like, it's sometimes what people do because it's easier, more comfortable.
Right.
But at the same time, what would you say to someone who's always taking that path of least resistance?
Well, we do. We take the path of least resistance. We do. And when we're not in the right structure, the path of least resistance is just stay the same. Status quo.
Yep.
Stay in what you're comfortable with. And it's not about, the path of least resistance is a universal law. Water takes the path of least, everything does, right? So what we do is, in my work, we create structural tension. That's a whole part of, tension is so good. Tension is what holds this universe together, right? The tension holds our bodies together. Tension is good. We think of it as bad, right? Tension is a bad thing. I don't want to feel tension. But tension is necessary for creation. Okay. So if you imagine if I had a rubber band, right? Mm-hmm. And basically what we do with this work is that we go to the emotion of the end result. We feel what it would feel like to have the goal. We set that emotional set point. And then what we do is we look at our current reality in relation to that set point, right? And it's like pulling the rubber band back. You pull a rubber band and there's that tension, right? Mm-hmm. So then what you've done now is you've created tension towards your goal, towards your desire, rather than tension backwards, that psychological tension back towards your old identity. So we're pulling ourselves forward. So that what happens is that we end up that creates momentum because there's that tension towards what we want instead of what we don't want. But you have to be able to plant the seed and nurture it for it to grow. You don't just plant the seed and it sprouts, right? This is a life work. This is life work. This isn't just something where you do a one-off and then your whole life changes. We have a whole life of patterns and programming to basically let go of and to reprogram new patterns, beliefs, and behaviors.
All right. So you say where there is resistance, there is wasted focus and energy, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So it's like the thing where you're focusing on, oh, imagine if we focused on, we're in a house and we focus on, I plane crashing into our house. We don't focus on a plane crashing into our house, right? It could happen or what, but we do that with like, oh, my someone might break into my house, right? And so the problem is that that we can focus on that all day, but it's like we're sitting in a rocking chair and we're never going to get anywhere. We just oscillate. We go back and forth and back and forth. It's not, we need, what you do in that situation is to focus on, let's say are afraid of burglary or of, safety issues in
Mm-hmm.
your house or something.
Yeah.
What you do is that, okay, feel the energy of when you say, I want to create a safe household for myself, versus I'm afraid that someone's going to break in, so I better lock up and put five locks on my door, get a security system. That's the lack mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem mentality. The energy is different when you say, I would really love to have a safe household. What can I create, and how can I create that? Right? And so when we focus on what we resist, it doesn't just persist, it owns us.
Mm-hmm.
What we resist owns us. And so what we do is we put our focus not on that, oh, I'm like, let's say today, if I focused on, I get nervous when I have these shows. And if I
But
focused
you
on the
never
fear,
know.
focused on the failure, then what I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do is create the failure. What I did before this session is I imagined how beautiful this conversation was going
And
going to
at the
go.
end, how happy you felt that it went so good. And you're backtracking with that
Absolutely.
rubber band intention. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You know, um, I mean, for you as an actress and in your industry, if you focused on the failure, on the outcome not going well, uh, what would that be like? It would be torture,
Well, there's a
right?
lot of rejection. There's a lot of failure in
Yes.
this field. I always say to everyone, it's a dime a dozen, and it really is. And
Right.
unfortunately, it's not all about talent you have. It's a lot about who you know. It's a lot about
Hmm.
politics. It's a lot about, but you know what? If I focused and let that get to me every time, I wouldn't be where I
Right.
am today.
What
Yeah.
if you took on that meaning, like I was rejected? Because I modeled early, a long time ago, and it was just very local. But at the same time, there was that same thing. Rejection is a part of the industry. Rejection is, and a lot of people, take on
Yeah.
rejection to mean I don't belong. They take it on to mean something about
Personally.
themselves.
Yep.
They
And it's
take it personally, and success and failure is not personal. It's like
no.
an experiment. Everything we do is really basically an experiment. We have this theory and this hypothesis of how it will turn out, and sometimes it turns out the way we imagine it will, and sometimes it doesn't. And if imagine if scientists took their
Yeah.
failed experiments to mean that they're a sucky scientist, we would have no science, right? Because
Exactly.
yeah, because it's not about that. It's just about it's just about the experiment and then getting into the right structure so that you can have the results that you're looking for.
Got it. Well, that's
Yeah.
so funny you said that. You're right. You got to have a thick skin. And I also am a firm believer in charity. The fact that I'm really good at saying, well, that's just what's meant to be. I kind of let
Hmm.
things go,
Hmm.
positive, negative, good, bad, whatever happens at that moment. I stop and I say, this is why there's a greater reason behind this. So I shouldn't be too
Yes,
upset that maybe I didn't get that job. And I shouldn't be upset that, my son was sick and missed out on this today. Everything happens for a reason. It's just
it does.
that whole karma of the
It does.
universe in a sense, which
It does.
I have
But
kind of
you,
believe in.
yeah, I do too. And you know what you're talking about is something we call the wizard's gate.
Ooh,
And Buddhists have another term for it, but it's basically the place of no desire, right? And what we do through this parts of this work is to get to that place where there's no resistance and no desire. And we do that in the recode process. And what we call that is the wizard's gate. So it's basically where you can create from a place that is all about your creation,
okay.
right? So let's say, I'm an artist, and I'm an artist, and so I would always reach that blank canvas, right? When all of these things would come up, all these fears of, oh, you're not really an artist, you won't be able to create this time. you don't really know what you're doing. And so that would scare me. And a lot of authors and creatives have this in front of them, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're really not capable, all those wounds that come up. And so that's what we do, is unpack those beliefs and get down to the truth. And that's actually what I wanted to do with you today. It was an
Go for it.
exercise called Uncovering the Truth.
Sure.
So what we need for that is for you to come up with something that's stuck. I know last week we were talking about relationships, and that might be something that is stuck. But if there's something that is with you that you haven't been able to achieve yet, or that you're working on currently and it just hasn't come to fruition, what would that be?
It's still relationships.
Relation. Okay, no, that's perfect.
I've always wanted to be married, find a partner, teammates. It just never got that far. But if we can't talk about that again, I'll think of something else because trust me.
No, that's perfect. That's
Okay.
perfect. As long as you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about, so how is it stuck?
Never getting past maybe a few years with someone, never growing together, always growing apart.
Right.
But I feel like the same behavioral patterns keep happening with myself and with them. So I can
Yeah.
recognize that, but I still
Right.
can't fix it.
Right. So what are your thoughts on that? What comes to mind when you think about that?
Hurt, pain, suckiness, just like, wow, like self-doubt. What's wrong with me? Why
Exactly.
am I too independent? Am I too obnoxious? Am I too independent? And usually I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Like,
I
it's
don't know.
me. It's me. There's something wrong with me.
Yes. And then I've
Right?
gone the other route of thinking, oh, it's them. And then I'm thinking, I don't know what it is. Like maybe
Right.
it's a spell. No, I don't know.
Right.
No, but
Right.
I also
Right.
know it probably stems from my parents growing up and not getting along at all. So that scared the hell out of me when it came to relationships. So I think deep down
Yes.
there's some blockages about fear of
Yes.
relationship. Even though I say I want it, I think there's
Right.
a fear of what I saw growing up
Do you really
and
want it? Because what if it turns out like
like
this?
that. And then so I put up a guard or some walls.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, what would be your definition of yourself in this circumstance? We kind of touched on a little bit. Like, how do you define yourself with these thoughts?
Well, hold on.
In this perspective of, there's something, how do I define myself? Too independent, you said.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, you're right. Too independent, not willing to compromise enough because I'm so set in my ways at this point. I think I do things this way and that way because that's all I know. And I say that's how it has to be, but I shouldn't be that way. I should be more open to other people's ideas and suggestions. And so I feel like I don't feel good. I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't think of another emotion
Yeah.
for it, but
Yeah.
it's sadness.
Sadness.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Longing, sadness. Yeah. So what do you think about others?
Well,
How do you think others deal with this?
you mean with the same type of problem
Yes,
or
yes, yes.
um the truth is I don't know many people, my friends and family who are alone. But I always say I try to make myself feel better.
Right,
But I also say the grass is always greener because then I have a lot of friends or family members that are married in a relationship and they're envious of me. And I'm like,
right,
what? That you don't know how hard it is and he doesn't appreciate and this. And I'm like, wait, but Mike, I wish I had those problems. So, and
right,
then I
right.
try to put into perspective saying, you know what? Every issue, every situation has their own. I stop and then I say, why am I complaining? I have a good luck. I have two little boys. I'm fine. Maybe it's just not meant in the cards. So I also could stop and put things into perspective and say, someone always has it worse. And is this really
Right.
about, if I can't figure out relationship by the time I die, it's not the biggest
Yeah.
problem. People deal
Right.
with children who are sick, so I have a big heart and a mind that thinks outside the box when it comes to that. So
Yes.
then I feel
Yes.
bad talking about it. Then I'm like, oh, woe is me, woe is me. Wow.
Well,
But
then, yes,
so
exactly. Then
I
you're judging
feel,
yourself.
and I feel like I don't like talking like about myself. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. I don't feel like,
Yeah.
and then, people would look outside the box and I feel like embarrassed. Like they'd be like, that's your problem. You can't find someone. Oh my gosh. Well, my problem's this. And I'm like, everyone has their own set of problems. So I don't want to complain too much, even to you,
Mm-hmm.
even to
Yeah,
our
no,
listeners.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, you're not complaining. You're just speaking the truth of the
Yeah.
experience, right?
Hmm.
And
And
you
we all
want what,
have.
and
Hmm.
you want what you want. And the thing is that you want it. So how do we create that,
Yeah.
right? Right? And what you're talking about is all of the resistance. It's basically, this is what I mean by resistance.
Okay.
All of these
I have
things
my
that are
rubber
coming
band right
up.
here.
Right,
It's
right.
tight around
So
my arms.
yeah, yeah. And so the resistance is the beliefs, the patterns, and in your case, it may be family rules that were made, that were implicit in your family. It might be, there's honestly, we actually take things 7 generations back, and it's in our DNA. We may have fears and things that aren't even from us. They're from our
Wow.
ancestors, and that's epigenetics and Bert Hellinger's work. And it's scientifically shown that if
Wow.
you think about it, we're animals, right? And so if an animal goes through this, or like an elephant, imagine the elephant. An elephant, you tie up an elephant when they're young, and they try to escape. They try to escape. They learn that they can't escape, and guess what? The next generations of elephants don't even try to escape.
Wow.
They don't
Wow.
even they're tied to the post, and they don't even try, because that if we think about it, it's in our instinctual instincts to survive,
Yeah.
right? And so that is passed along to the next generation. So you may be carrying trauma from, 3 to 7 generations back, whatever it is, that the where you learned in your genes, you learned, but you can change that. And then science has shown that you can also change that, which is
Ooh.
amazing. It's just almost like it's magical
So,
for me.
well, clearly that's what you do. You're part of the magical universe. By
So,
the way, oh, go
oh,
ahead.
so how do you typically deal with this resistance when it comes up?
It came up this morning, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I worked another job and then I was talking to someone that I started dating. And it's funny because he was telling me, you really, I feel like you don't have time for me. You don't. And I said, right now I don't. I'm working 2 full-time jobs. I live with my boys alone. I said,
Mm-hmm,
this is what I do. So now
mm-hmm.
I'm feeling guilty that I'm like, well, and I said to him my exact words, I'll be honest. I said, it's so ironic. I said, because I feel like men, and I'm categorizing him. And I said, I feel like
Right,
sometimes you guys like want someone who's not as hardworking, who's not as independent. I look at all my friends that don't work as hard. I'm working my butt off. And
right,
I think that scares you. It doesn't scare me. I said, well, then what is it? Because I can't be that I'll give you all the attention, girl, when I have a family to support and a life to,
right,
it's
right.
like, no offense, but you're number four.
Yes,
And,
yes,
and guess what?
yes.
I would not be happy being someone's number four. I said, but it's me,
Right,
Austin, Jackson, then number four. So the truth is, if a man told me you're number four, I probably wouldn't date him. So I'm honest, and I'm like,
right,
to them
right,
that sounds like, well, then that means you don't care. Like, no, I'm just telling you the truth. I don't expect you to date me because I know it's not easy. I don't have the time, but
right.
I know no other way, and this is fine. So some of the man who comes in my life has to be super special to understand that, or
Super
say,
special.
hey, you know what? Teamwork makes the dream work, and maybe we could cohabitate, we can live together, we could work, make it a family unit. So I didn't have
Right.
to work as hard. I didn't have, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again, you also
definitely.
can't tell a guy that you start dating that, like, oh, you want to live together, so you have to walk on eggshells. And it's like, I'm not looking for you to support me, but it'd be
Right.
nice to
To be a
cohabitate
team.
and to,
Yes, yes. So what typically happens
when
when this stuff comes up? You said it only lasts so long, and then it falls away.
and then yeah, then normally the relationship would end after. But I mean, the last relationship I was in was in January for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And the truth is, I knew that wasn't going to work. I knew he was very jealous and possessive, which were bad qualities like
Mm,
my father. But I
right.
stayed for the wrong reasons. It was just comfort of someone to see and things to do on the weekend because I'm so busy with my life and my kids and my work. And it just became comfortable.
Comfortable. Yes,
It was a
comfortable.
hard habit to break. It's a Chicago
Yes.
song. I don't know if you know
Yes.
Chicago, but
Yes,
yeah,
I do. I love that. Um, so if you were to say what would you really love in a relationship? Have you thought about exactly really, really entering in and associating, saying, okay, this is what I would love in a relationship, in a partner? Have you really gone there? And, what is that? What does that look like to you?
it's amazing. It's someone to laugh with. First and foremost, it's about laughing. It's about being fun loving, being just enjoying life each and every second. That's what to me it's about. And I want someone who's going to have that same kind of aspect on life and just love it, appreciate it, laugh
Yeah.
with it, and not, yeah, not take it so seriously because I feel like life is so precious and that we should enjoy it. So I need someone who's fun loving, good sense of humor. Sense of humor, I
Hmm.
think, is a good thing. And also someone who also loves children because I have little kids.
Yes,
But
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I just
So
like happiness and being happy and in love. I don't like, I mean, reality is that life is harder than that, but why
right.
can't it be a little simpler like
It
that?
can be. It can
Going
be.
back to basics. Yeah.
Yes, going back to okay, this is what I'm looking for. Right? This is what I'm looking for. And you just kind of touched on, well, how does that feel? How does it feel to be in that relationship? Because that's when we're pulling the tension. How does that
Ah,
end result feel? And really envision yourself being in that place, because what you're doing is you're telling your brain,
I'm
you're creating an
manifesting. I'm manifesting. I would need
yes.
to manifest, right?
Yeah, and you're creating that experience in your mind, which your brain doesn't know the difference between a memory and a visualization and a real live
Experience.
experience. It
Wow, that's
experiences it the same. It fires the same. So when what you're doing is you are firing new neural pathways towards that, well, that end
that
result.
goal that
Yeah, that, yeah. And what will happen is that your mindset will open, and you're going to start to see the things that are in alignment with that vision. You're going to notice maybe somebody you didn't notice before.
mm-hmm.
You're going to notice things about maybe the relationship you're in that you didn't notice before, right? So for you, the next question I would ask is, what is obvious to you? What is obvious to you in this situation?
Well, that I'm super happy when I'm thinking about what I want and less stressful life and happiness. And it's obvious that that's the way it should be. It to me, it's like that's what I've aspired instead of all this stress and tension and running around and always
Mm-hmm.
being here, there, and everywhere, doing everything myself. It's a lot. Yeah, I feel like I would be so happy in that place
Mm-hmm.
and
So what is something
peaceful.
that you really value that you would have to give up to get that desired result? Because there's something that you're hanging on to
I would
that's in the
have
way.
I would have to give up some work
Mm. Or
because it's
what?
a catch 22 because I'm working a lot and then that's less income to pay the bills, the
Right.
mortgage, the
Would you
kids.
have to?
But I would have to. I can't. I mean, it's what else could I do? Because like for example, then there's sports every night with the kids that I have to run to, and
Right.
then my son's father helps out maybe like one night a week. So I'm just like. So well I know I got one. I had to get a babysitter now twice a week so I can go to bed at 6 p.m. because I'm
Right.
working a 1:30 a.m. shift and then this other shift. So it's like, so I've had the past 3 weeks I had to get help.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
bad,
Yeah.
but I don't think
No.
I could live like that twice a
Right.
week and do it's a lot of rent. And then last night was ice hockey, it's a lot, and then the homework,
Yeah.
and then the so I need more time in a day, which I'm not going to get. I
Right.
need more help,
Right.
and help costs money. So if I'm working, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you
go
have your
ahead.
priorities.
Yes,
Yeah. But would you really have to give up the work, or what if it's about what your vision is, that maybe your vision incorporates a person that is okay being number four?
yeah,
A person, that understands that, because he also has a number one and a number two and a number three, maybe.
yeah,
And even though he would, and it would be okay, because what if it's your vision that, of what you want, that needs that, and not, and also letting go of the fear.
yes.
The fear, the fear is, what's underneath that fear is, we could let go of that fear.
And the fear if I give up work to make things work with someone, what if that doesn't work out and then I'm stuck
Right.
without my job? So I am scared.
Or the
And
fear
it's
of the relationship itself turning out a certain way.
my girlfriend at ice skating last night said to me, Jill, and she's married, she has 3 kids, and she says, "Can you believe Sean came home and he didn't want to help me with Sophia, and she's got the 3 kids, and he actually said to me, well, I'm the one paying the bills in this house, and da da da. I'm doing a
Yep.
lot." And I said to her, I said, "Look, I've been on both sides of the fence, and I still am. It's harder to be a stay-at-home mom than it is to work. It's easier to go to work, even if it's 1 in the morning." I said, "It's
Mm-hmm.
easier than kids." So I give you
Mm-hmm.
credit for that. I said, "Do you know what?" I looked at her and I smiled. I said, "I'm sorry that you're upset." I said, "But just made me realize that's something I should be thankful for because I don't don't have someone telling me that, like, who's threatening me about that I pay the bills. I'm
Yes.
doing that. So I felt good
Yes.
for a minute, but then I still feel bad afterwards. But like that, a fear of someone like controlling
Yes.
me. Like
Yes.
my mother was
Yes.
controlled by my
Yes.
father, who didn't let her work, didn't let her out of the house. And so I became overly out of the house, overly independent, overly hardworking. But now
Yes.
I'm just getting tired of that lifestyle and maybe
Right.
not letting the right people in or doing the right thing because I'm still in this go, go, go mode, like an energizer
Yes.
buddy. Charity, I'd
Yeah.
like
Oh,
to.
I feel you. I'm right there with you. I really am. Maybe not at the level that you are, but I am. I mean, I have my kids. My son just moved in, and I
How old
have
are they?
my son just moved back home. He's 21. He's
Okay.
trying to figure things out. He actually is a lot like me. Had a lot of the same patterns, and because of our upbringing, my upbringing, and then his upbringing, because I was in two abusive marriages myself,
Mm.
and it was what I realized was that I was staying in that place, and I married my daddy, and what happened is
That's my
that,
fear. Yeah.
yeah, because you know why I was chasing daddy, and this is how a lot what the work has helped me to see is that I was chasing daddy because I wanted to get that affection I didn't get from my dad, the attention I didn't get from my dad, and what I built was this belief that if I can prove to you that I'm worthy,
Mm-hmm.
and even that, pain is a part of love. Those
Oh,
beliefs underneath there they're there, right? And also that someone else has the power, right? Someone else has the power. It was more comfortable. It was easier for me because I
easier.
know to give the power away than to hold it. I didn't even know I could hold it myself,
And
to be
here you
honest.
are. Look at you now, right?
Yes, yes, and that's what I love about this is because, you know, like with your situation, the power. We talk about it. Where's the power? Where would you say the power is?
Well, I think I have the power now, but I want to
Yes.
let go of some of it. It's exhausting. By the way, on a personal level, if you don't mind sharing, are you in touch with your exes, or was it
Oh
that bad, or no, or
no,
did
it
they,
was that bad. Like actually, the
or have you
last
now?
Yeah, the
Okay.
last marriage, the first one, my kids are
Hmm.
from the
Father.
first marriage. Yes,
Hmm.
he's the father, and I'm able to talk to him now. There was a
Good.
point where for years that I wasn't able to even communicate. But the last relationship, it almost killed me. I had a stroke. I ended up in jail defending myself,
Okay.
and that was terrifying. I mean, my brain literally broke, and it wasn't until the fear of my reality
Mm-hmm.
became so powerful that it actually moved me into a place of being able to leave.
Yeah.
And when I look back on that, I actually realized that I gave him all of my power.
Power. Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
and like and like with the situation, we can give our
Um,
power away to the fear. We can give our power away to our beliefs of what we've experienced in the past.
mm-hmm.
So in your situation, maybe it's about that the fear of this outcome has the power,
It does.
right? How do you take your power back from that?
I don't know. That's why you're going to tell me how, I
Yes,
hope.
yes,
Can you help?
yes. Well, the first thing is just awareness.
Okay, good.
Yes, the first thing. I mean, you have a very good awareness and good
I
insight, so that's
do,
huge.
but
And
then
you
I
have
can't get further than that, to be
right,
honest,
right.
because clearly it's not working.
What I would say is what we would work on the vision and really get into what
Create
that is. Create
the
the
life that
vision,
I want,
the
feel it,
life
see it, taste
exactly.
it, smell it.
I mean, imagine we have the things called the four core exactly the four core choices, and that's how we start to orientate out of this problem orientation and into the creative structure. Is that we have four to help people start, and that's
Hmm.
the life I love. I choose to live a life
Yep.
I love. What does that look like? I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I choose health and vitality because you need health and vitality, and I choose my true nature and purpose. I mean, how good do those feel?
Feels
And
great.
and
And
and what we would do.
unfortunately, we have to end on that. It's been 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Okay, sorry, sorry.
No, it's
We'll end
great.
on that if you don't
Okay,
mind. And
yeah.
then give us the best forms of contact. My goodness.
Sure,
I'll
sure.
have to pick up
I
next
just
week.
want to say is
Go ahead.
I'm having a sale. Everything is
Yes, go ahead.
50% off. So, and you get to try this for free. I have on my website
Universe.
magicaluniversecoaching.com, and you can go to actually magicaluniversecoaching.net, which is spelled with a YOUniverse. So if you go there, you can sign up for a free demo of the rapid recode process. You get to try this for free. There's nothing to lose. And you can call me at 1-317-529-4476. You can reach me that way as well. So just get in touch and let's do this.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Charity
Thank
Golden.
you.
Have a great day.
You too,
Everyone else, stay
bye-bye.
tuned.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.